In today's video, we're going to finish organizing these drawers. Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe so you can be notified when I post new videos. Don't forget to give today's video a thumbs up. And as always, the links for everything mentioned in today's video will be down below in the YouTube description. So in today's video, we're going to finish organizing the rest of my craft room. I just have a couple drawers that we need to kind of finalize. There's some things that we need to take out, some things that we need to switch around. I'm going to give you a quick look of how my craft room looks right now, or how the craft drawers look right now. And at the very end, you'll see how I ended up organizing. So let's do a walkthrough of my cabinets and how they look right now. And I'll talk a little bit about what I'm thinking about organizing, and then we'll see where that actually goes. So this is the very end of my workspace. And in here is where I have all of my vinyl. It's taking up precious space that I can use for something else. And I think what I'm going to do is put all of this into storage. The only time I really use vinyl is if I'm making some kind of signage or something like that at work. And then in my corner section here, what I'm thinking about doing with this is on the very bottom shelves, I have my sewing machine and all my sewing stuff. I'm going to take that out as well. I'm not really using it that much where it needs to have that precious space in my craft room. So I'm going to take this out and put it into storage. And when I say I'm putting it into storage, I'm just putting the room right behind it, right behind my craft room, so I have easy access to it. On this top shelf, I've got things like my Cuttlebug, which I don't use anymore, some other miscellaneous things that I probably will leave here, like my some cutting plates and acrylic paints and stuff like that. So I think those are gonna stay there. Moving over, this top drawer has pens and markers in it that I don't use very often. So I have the Arteza marker, brush tip markers, I have alcohol markers, I have Tombow pens that I really only use this for bullet journaling. These two containers right here, that's my Zig clean color brushes and a couple Nouveau pens and stuff, which I think I'm going to hold on to these, and I want to put them in a place where I can reach them. But these three things, I'm not using them very often, so I'm going to move them into a different drawer. Then this drawer is kind of an embellishment drawer. I have my sequins here, I have my Nouveau embellishment mousse over here, I have glitter, and then in the back I have these enamel dots, which I don't use these anymore. So I'm going to put these into my Project Life storage. And then I have another container back here that has, like, what do you call it, spackle, and then some actual action wobblers. The third drawer is kind of my mixed media. I have my distress sprays, my alcohol inks, transfer gel, which probably should be in another drawer. I have all of my paper pads and my brushes back here. So I want to maybe make this whole section into a mixed media area to keep all of this kind of stuff instead of having it shoved into one drawer, which isn't all fitting. Maybe get this a little bit more organized by spreading it out a little bit. So my third drawer is a little mix of everything. The wood veneers, I've had these in here forever. I haven't touched them in a while. The only time I ever really use these is when I am working on Project Life, so I'm going to put that into my Project Life storage. I have a big, one of those nice size clear acrylic containers with just a couple pieces of thread in it. So I think I'm going to move the thread into something else, and that frees up this box. And then I also have my felt in here, which I'm going to find another location for that. Our bottom two drawers are the ones we just did. This is our stamping and die storage, so I don't have to do anything with those drawers. This top drawer, I think, is going to be another thing that I'm going to put into storage. I might save something like these little tiny brads. That's about it. The rest, I'm probably going to put it in storage because I'm not really, oops, that bag is open. I'm not really using them. So that'll free up an entire drawer. So this is the very last section that we're going to be organizing. This top drawer is mostly my embossing powders, which we just moved into this drawer when we were doing the stamp organization. And then I also moved in all of the Cricut supplies, which we need to get into a basket and have that organized. This next drawer doesn't need anything done to it. It's my card making supplies. It has like tags and gift kind of things, and then also my envelopes are back there. The next drawer is in pretty good shape as well. This is my Mink and foil storage. So I have my two Mink machines which fit in here perfectly, so I don't want to move this out. And then I have all of my foil back here. So this one doesn't need any work, nor does the one on the very bottom, which is my tool drawer. We kind of cleaned this out once before, and it pretty much stayed that way. I really haven't done much to this drawer. So let me show you everything that we did today. For this cabinet, this is the corner cabinet, and it had all of my vinyl. I left my vinyl down here. I originally was going to put it in storage, but I decided to leave it down at the bottom here. And then on the top here, I have all of my cutting boards, or all of my punch boards. In the corner cabinet, I left my sewing machine, and I also left my box of thread because I do need that sometimes for sewing buttons. And then this right here, these are the bins that, if you watched my stamp and die storage videos, this was the 2 bins that I used for sorting out the stamps and dies. What I did was I moved my vinyl transfer sheets to the top bin, and the bottom bin has my iron-on vinyl. On the top shelf, I have my spinet, my We Are Memory Keeper spinet that I'm going to be trying out, and then a cup that I'm going to be using for the spinet. And then in the very back is my Easy Press for my Cricut, along with the mat for that. I do have my next candle in here. And then on the side over here, I have just a bin that has one of those shelf separators in it, and on the side I put my 2 or 3 cutting plates that I have for my big shot there. And then I left this big bin, this metal bin or wire bin, with my acrylic paints and so on in here. So this is my 4-drawer section, and in this top drawer I have my pencils. In the very back I have these 2 pencil cases which hold my Faber-Castell and my Polychromo pencils. And then on the side over here I just used one of my little storage containers that I collect from Home Goods, and I use that to hold my Gamma-Sol and my blender stumps and stuff like that. So anything that's related to pencils is in this drawer. In the very front I have my very small collection of watercolor pencils and one of those little sampler packs of watercolor pencils. The second drawer is going to be my watercoloring drawer. I have my watercolor brushes right in the front in one of these little containers. I'm using one of the bigger acrylic containers to keep my Arteza brush markers, some Distress watercolor cardstock, and then I also have my Zig Clean Color Real brush markers. And in the very front here I have another container that's just holding my gelatos. I have a watercolor palette. This is the only watercolor palette I have. And then back here is where I have my watercolor papers and my Bristol cardstock and any kind of other little palettes for coloring and so on. Moving down to the third drawer, this is kind of a mix of things. I have my Tim Holtz Distress sprays in their containers here. I just purchased the new set and then bought the containers as well because they're fairly new. My alcohol inks are back here, and I have 2 alcohol inks that don't fit into the container. When I start getting more, I'll buy another container. But then I also have one of these little containers that holds my my alcohol blending solution, the little felt pads, and then I keep a blender in here. In the very front, I have my Yupo ink, the alcohol Yupo ink paper. In the on the other side, I have the divider here, and then on the other side, I have my embellishment mousse. And then in the front here, I have things like some glitter, some diamond dust. I have my spackle, and then I have one of these little trays for just kind of using for the spray. And in the back here, I have some glass water bottles for if I'm going to mix my own watercolors or use my distress inks to make watercolors. I have that available back there. And then moving down into my bottom drawer is kind of my mix mash of things. I put my Tombow brush markers down here, my sequins, my Nuvo alcohol inks, some more of these little trays that I can use with the sequins. And then back here is just a little mix of things like my action wobblers, my jelly roll, and some other little odds and ends. So in the top drawer is where I put my felt. I also put my flock transfer paper, my felt that's in the rolls. This is the ones I've gotten from Paper Tray Ink. And then I have this pile right here, which is from a company called Benzie, I think it is. And I just bought a couple packets so I have a nice variety of color. And then back here, I have some that thread and yarn that I had sitting in a big container that didn't need to be in a big container. So I just put that up here. So this is the last drawer that I organized, and that's the top drawer of the next section. And you've already seen this drawer. This is the embossing powders. On this side, I have one of those little shelf dividers. And then here is where I have my Cricut supplies. I have my pens and my extra knives, as well as some of my other tools. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and found the organizational videos helpful. I have one more video for you, and that's gonna be the grand tour of my craft room, and you'll see all of the changes I made. There are some additional things that you haven't seen that you'll be seeing in my grand tour, so stay tuned, and I'll be posting that video soon. Just thought of something. I didn't find a place for my stencils. So here are two more videos you might enjoy. The top video is a playlist of all the videos in this organizational series, and the bottom video is one that YouTube recommends and thinks you might enjoy. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time.